Ever since World War II, more and more of our food has been coming from industrial farms. Thanks to the methods of production which use chemicals, pesticides, and growth hormones, this has been causing increasing environmental damage to our country.
I think food is a good entry point to talk about sustainability because there's so many sustainability issues surrounding food. So you can think about the transportation, how is food getting from one place to another, from the farm to your plate. You can think about water, how much water is required to grow these fruits and vegetables, and how do different farming methods require more water, less water. Similar with energy, are you using mechanical equipment that requires lots of fossil fuels, or is more of the work done by hand, or is it done by things that are powered by the sun? That term's local is considered Georgia or the 8 surrounding states. So it's really local or regional, which gives us a lot more access to things like citrus, which you can't grow in Georgia. In fiscal year 2013. So that percentage for that year was 25.6% local or sustainable. Sodexo at Emory actually contracted out with a third-party company to do a really in-depth assessment and tracking of our food purchases. And so when we say the 25.6%, we feel really comfortable in that number. And a lot of other schools, the tracking is a really complicated system, and I don't think everyone is putting quite as much effort into that assessment as we are. So we're glad that we can be really transparent about what we're doing. And I mean, our goal is 75% local or sustainable by 2015. Clearly, if we're at 26 now, we're not going to meet that.
A surprising 90% of all fresh vegetables consumed in the United States are grown in California. As a result, the average American food travels 1,500 miles before being consumed. For every calorie of energy in agriculture itself, 5 more are being used for processing, storage, and distribution.
You hear the number a lot, 1,500 miles is the average amount that food travels to get to your plate. So that's a lot of greenhouse gas emissions that go into the atmosphere from that. Also, just in terms of freshness, you think about the longer the food takes to get from the ground to your plate, the less fresh it's going to be. So the farther it has to travel, the longer that's going to take. Supporting the local economy. I know I feel really good personally when I'm purchasing food from a farmer's market and give that $5 directly to the farmer, because I know it's going directly into his or her pocket, not into the hands of a large corporation that isn't necessarily going to be boosting our local economy.
One way to combat this problem is by eating locally grown foods. As a part of Emory's sustainability initiatives, the Dobbs University Center in the Dobbs Market has many locally grown foods. For example, there's apples and oranges, which are locally grown and imported every day.
You can't get everything that you want locally all year round. So basically nowhere in the 48 main US states can you get bananas. So you can't get bananas locally. But for someplace like Georgia, you can't get strawberries year-round locally. But right now is strawberry season. So you can get strawberries now, but in 4 months from now, they're not going to be here unless you've preserved them or frozen them or something like that.
So it's like more of an emphasis on like seasonal food. So.
Yeah, because if you're getting it local, it's only going to be food that's in season in your region. And there's definitely ways to extend seasons, and in Georgia we're really lucky that we can grow year-round, especially if farmers have greenhouses or hoop houses. You can eat greens all year round, but then there's certain things like peaches and asparagus and peas that you're only going to be able to eat certain times.
Okay.
farmers market, and then there's the educational gardens that are around campus. So there's a garden site right by Cox, and one by Zayas, and one at Rollins, and one at the School of Medicine, and one at Oxford. And so those are an opportunity for student and faculty and staff volunteers to work in the gardens and grow their own fresh, very local food.